court ruling striking down the state's same-sex marriage ban. It would allow same-sex marriages starting next Monday morning.
Yeah, now the American Civil Liberties Union and two people who have sued to overturn the marriage ban are holding a news conference. Let's listen in.
Second parent adoption for Alice.
Yes. And that way we'll secure the parental rights of Jason, which will be a huge victory and huge for the family to recognize the legal status now as the parents they've been for Alice.
Are you concerned the ruling will be overturned?
No, I don't think so. I think in the long run, what's right is right, and it'll prevail in the long run. Only time can tell, though. Go ahead.
What was your reaction today?
I actually kind of lost control. I was on the phone with somebody else when the law office called, and I actually hung up on both people and just kind of sat there for a moment. I was stunned. So, yeah. What was your reaction, Jason?
I'm sorry, which one's Nick and who's Jason?
I'm Nick. This is Jason. Just squeeze them together.
Okay.
What did you do, Jason?
I guess I was surprised that it happened this early in the morning. After Friday with no decision, we kind of thought maybe we'd wait at least till end of day today, or maybe tomorrow or Wednesday. Yeah, it was amazing that it happened first thing, and what better way to start off the week.
How has the wait been? I mean, it was a week and no word, and so what was it like waiting in the anticipation?
I'd say the first day was probably the hardest, because I think a lot of us thought that maybe we'd get a ruling from the bench when we walked in, and we'd walk out that day in court and have marriage equality in Nebraska. So after the first day, I mean, we knew it was going to happen. It was just a matter of time, and we've waited this long. What's a couple more days?
Can you just kind of tell us what you guys have been through and the struggle and the fight and overcoming all of these things? Tracy, do you want to join in?
Yeah, I'll
We don't want to hog the mic.
So Marge and I were married in California when we lived in California and had lived as married for many years. And so our move to Nebraska, I think, was more challenging than we thought it was going to be, because we hadn't really anticipated how hard it was going to be to feel like your rights were stripped. So when we think about what we'll do now, I think we'll have a bigger party than we did when we got married, because we actually know what it feels like to have lost the right and to gain it back. I think that our wait this week was hard, but this next week is going to be hard for the number of couples who have waited so long in Nebraska, and I know there are many people out there who are trying to figure out what they're going to do on Monday or Tuesday, and I'm just thrilled that they'll get to have their love and their families recognized finally.
So both of you couples have been married in other states. Do you have any advice for couples who are planning on being married come Monday? I mean, advice as to what they may face from the public as well.
I guess I'd have to say, surprisingly, the reaction from the public has been nothing but good. I don't know. I'll let Tracy talk about what her experience has been in Omaha, but Nick and I have talked over the last 3.5 years since we adopted Alice, what that reaction would be when we get a negative issue in public, and it's never happened. I mean, no one has said anything negative. I guess it's hard when you've got a cute kid like this, but it's always been positive. Even today, I try not to read the comments on articles, but I'd have to say it was like 95% positive and 1 or 2 negative comments. So I don't know that the negativity is out there. So Tracy?
And we do know that Greg and Bill, our unmarried plaintiffs, are planning to obtain their marriage license on Tuesday. They're out of town, so we waited all last week, and now they're out of town, but they are joyfully preparing to obtain their marriage license. But yes, Tracy, and then your kind of reaction too.
Yeah, I think when we moved
Tracy,
to...
I'm sorry, can you just kind of stand
Sure. I think when we moved to Omaha, we were worried and concerned about what it would be like here. And I think that we have been so pleasantly surprised. Our neighbors have been wonderful and warm since the first day. They came over and brought cookies and cupcakes to welcome us to the neighborhood. I think how we all know that this issue will end up the right way long term on the part of the Supreme Court is that when people come to know and meet our families, they realize that we're just like them, that we love the same way, that we have children and we parent the same way, and that we're not scary, and that we're not trying to destroy anybody else's families. And I think once they learn to know us, that they learn to love us, and when they learn to love us, then this issue will no longer receive a negative response from anyone.
Tracy, you talked about having the rights, losing those rights. What was it, the rights that you lost the most, that you felt most passionate about? And now to gain them back, what is it you look forward to most?
I think the dignity is the part. All of the rest for us was paperwork. We're thankful to the lawyers here who helped us with our durable powers of attorney and durable powers of health care and our wills and all of that when we moved here, things that you don't need to do when you're married. But when we signed our house paperwork and we signed it as buying it as two single women, it's weird to think how that feels, how your whole life is sort of stripped, and the dignity or indignity that you feel from having to be something that you're not. So it's really the respect and the dignity that you get back from the recognition that, for me, is the right, is the recognition of the right in real life.
If the Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals issues the stay, or grants the stay, from the stay or whatever, until you have to wait a few months longer, I mean, what's your reaction as far as that? If you have to wait until May or June?
Well, if we have to wait, we have to wait, right? But in my eyes, one more day of having the insecurity for Alice and the constant worry about what could happen to her if something should happen to me, and all of those insecurities, and I worry for Susan and Sally and their health issues and whatnot. I'm not sure that one more day, some people say one more day couldn't hurt, but one more day could hurt, right? One more day could be the end of one of our lives. It could be the health issue that puts one of us over the edge. So I'm not sure one more day can wait. So I urge people to think about that. What would happen if your spouse got in a car accident? What would happen if you received cancer? That's the issues we face every single day. So one more day, we can't wait. That's what I would say.
In the judge's order, he went pretty extensively into the different narratives of the couples. What did you think of that, and just him talking about the complexities of each different couple?
It just shows that Judge Battalion really heard what we had to say, and he understood the issue that's before him. I was quite impressed with the ruling, and that he saw the full scope of the issue.
It goes back to the oral argument. Judge Battalion's very first question to the lawyers was, how are Susan and Sally today? So we knew up front his primary concern were the couples and their real life, and how is this impacting. So we felt like the opinion today resonated with that care, concern, compassion. And I just know, as a lawyer, oftentimes we get court orders that feel stark or feel cold. And in this case, I felt like our clients felt cared for by the judge reciting their unique situation and how this had a direct impact on them.
And I think what the court decision also reminds us is that these are not abstract legal principles. These are just people's real complicated lives. And all of us need the protection of law to secure our families.
Does your optimism come with any caution, knowing that there are still people in this state that disagree with this decision?
I don't know how to phrase that. I was having, frankly, I'm not concerned about the opposition, because all I'm trying to do is live my life. I would like them to live their lives and do their thing, and I'd like to live my life and protect my family. I guess to further that, I mean, I think part of the thing about living in Nebraska is we all can have our opinion. The problem, though, is when other people's opinions start affecting the civil liberties of other residents. So I think that's important to realize, that we clearly respect the opposition's personal beliefs. Our concern, though, is when they impact our lives and the lives of the other LGBT couples in Nebraska.
So, if the ruling stands and gay marriage is legal, what's next? I mean, in so many other communities in Nebraska, the workplace rights are not protected. So are you guys going to continue the fight? And
Absolutely. So we would not rest until we have freedom for all LGBT people in Nebraska. So you're right. Once we get the freedom to marry, then there's the foster care laws, and there's the anti-discrimination in the workplace, and then there's the winning the hearts and the minds of everybody in Nebraska. We've been on a media tour with the ACLU. So all of those things will continue. Just because we win today, it's just one more step in the hurdle to all of those things that just ensure that all Nebraskans are, equal under the law, equality before the law, right?
Have you ever thought, though, as far as going through this whole process where it's like, you just want to be just a regular couple instead of having to be these advocates and step up, and you just want to be dads? Well, you know what I mean?
It is true. And 14 interviews in 30 weeks is probably a lot to do. But without this, we can't be Dad's Dallas, right? And our other friends that have kids can't be parents to their kids, and other our friends that want to adopt kids can't be parents. So we are in an unfortunate place with the help of everybody here and with the ACLU that we can step forward and be that mouthpiece. Yes, I would like to go home and play with my kid, right? Celebrate with her and that kind of thing, but it's more important for us to stand here today with her and show that we love her and support her, and just show her what true families are like. And then someday when she looks back on this, and she can look back on all the videotapes and whatnot, she can say, that's what my dads did for me and for everybody else.
what are you going to tell her about this time?
I'm hoping that it never has to be an issue. I think for her generation, this will be a non-issue. She'll just have two dads, and that's just the way it is. So,
having gone through this, has your opinion of Nebraska changed at all?
no, I love Nebraska. We've been here. I've been here for 10, 12 years. Jason's been here all his life. We've talked about moving many, many times. But why should we move a place that we love? So we decided, rather than move to a place that would accept us, we will help Nebraska become a better place for everybody.
I guess the one thing that concerns me is maybe the disconnect. I think the last poll I saw was that 65% of Nebraskans support marriage equality. I find it disheartening that our governor can say the people have made their determination that this is something that they don't want in our state, and clearly that was the case 10 years ago, but I think times have changed. So I guess my only one concern is I feel like we've kind of done our part to step out and share our opinion and share our lives with the rest of Nebraska. For all of us to be equal and have the freedoms that we want, I wish that the rest of the citizens of Nebraska would stand up and voice their opinion so that this wouldn't have to go through the court. Clearly we're happy that it did. So that's kind of, I guess, where my mind is.
Okay, you're hearing from some of those who sued the state about Nebraska's ban on same-sex marriage. They're saying words like stunned, amazed, and thrilled as the judge rules that the Nebraska's ban on same-sex marriage is unconstitutional.
Now, Nebraska's Catholic bishops issued a joint statement today expressing disappointment in Judge Battalion's ruling. They say the ruling presumes to nullify what God has written on human hearts since the beginning of time, that marriage is between a man and a woman and has as one of its principal purposes to procreation and rearing of children. The bishops say Judge Battalion's ruling undermines the fundamental human right of every child to know and be united with his or her mother and father. And they ask all Catholics and people of goodwill to continue to fast and pray that God's plan for marriage and family life will be affirmed. That statement today from Archbishop George Lucas, Bishops James Conley and William Denninger.
Now, we reached out today to a Creighton law professor for his take on all this. Pat Borchers predicts there will be no same-sex marriages in Nebraska next Monday. Borchers expects the Federal 8th Circuit Court of Appeals to issue a stay on Judge Battalion's ruling, effectively putting it on hold. He says this would avoid allowing couples to be married, only to see their marriages thrown into jeopardy if the Court of Appeals or the Supreme Court later rules same-sex marriage bans are valid. Now, there are two other cases making their way through the court. Same 8th Circuit Court will hear arguments in May on challenges to same-sex marriage bans in South Dakota, Missouri, and Arkansas. In all those cases, federal judges have declared the bans unconstitutional. And then there is the case before the U.S. Supreme Court. Arguments will be held in April, a ruling expected for late June. And that could render all other cases null by deciding same-sex marriages are constitutional.
Now, there is more reaction to this, including the county clerk in Nebraska who says she's not sure she can accept a marriage application from a same-sex couple.
That will be part of more complete coverage at 5 and 6. And, of course, we're live all the time on KETV.com and KETV Mobile. Now back to our regular programming.